Reining. As soon as the bell rang, Amai quickly packed up all of her things. She had to get this done quickly. She had a busy day today and she didn't want to waste a second. That she also didn't want to get caught in her classmates' weird antics. Hey Nagai, you wanna add your blood to the circle? One of her classmates asked her, as her other classmates cut their hands with a sacrificial dagger and added their blood to a pentagram they drew on the floor. No, sorry, I'm in a rush. Bye, Amai said as she ran out of the room as fast as her legs would carry her. The kid shrugged. Oh well. Bring out the flamethrower. When Amai got out, she found a limousine waiting for her, with Sori in front of it. Hey kid, how was school? Sori asked. Good. My classmates are trying to summon the devil or something, so can we leave here as soon as possible please? Amai asked as politely as she could. Sure, let's go kid, Sori said as she opened the door to the limo, revealing Yami and Seikyo inside. Immediately Seikyo used her telekinesis to pick Amai up and sit her next to herself. Hello, mother. Amai's face immediately exploded into a fierce blush. Hi Seikyo. Hey Yami. Hi. Yami greeted with his usual unchanging expression. His eyes staring at her, causing her to blush even more. Sori closed the door and went up front, then the car started moving. So did you watch Witch Wars last night? Seikyo asked. Yeah, it was so good. That reveal for XRA was amazing. Although I did laugh at her name a bit. Amai admitted. It was rather, how do you say, on the nose, Seikyo said. I rolled my eyes a bit. But the episode was still amazing. I don't see the problem. Yami shrugged. Joke was fine. I'm glad you recommended it to me. I didn't hear anyone talking about it online, so I probably wouldn't have found it if you didn't tell me about it. Amai said. You really like witches, huh? Seikyo nodded. Magic is something that amazes me. It's cool, and beautiful, and powerful all at the same time. And it comes in so many different forms. And it gives me new ideas for what to do with my powers. Seikyo then held up her hands, and small fireworks burst in between them. Wow, Amai said, thoroughly impressed by Seikyo's little display. You know, you could always make your own magic stuff. Not in real life, but if you asked Ken, he could make any magic stuff you want come to life on screen. Seikyo thought about that. I don't know what I'd ask him to make. You can think about it, Yami told her. We have time. They finally got to their destination, a homeless shelter. Despite being located in a rather poor part of the city, the shelter was in pristine condition. Nothing too flashy, but it did stick out just a little compared to the surrounding area. The reason for this was that this homeless shelter was purchased and supported by the Midoriya Foundation. The kids got out of the limo, entered the building, and were met with an older woman. "Yami, Amai. It's so nice to see you again," the woman said as she saw them enter. "Oh, and who is this?" "This is Seikyo. I made her," Yami explained simply, as Seikyo gave a polite bow. "I'm fairly certain I won't understand anything even if I ask you to explain, so I'm just not going to accept that and try not to think about it," the lady said. "Anyway, I'm assuming you came to help too?" "That's right. Mother and Fa. I mean, Yami and Amai have been doing this for a while, so I wanted to try it out," Seikyo said. "I believe they call this a family outing. Gonna pretend like I didn't hear the mother and father part." She thought, "Well, I am the director, so I'll be in charge of you three today. It's nice to meet you. Now then, let's not waste any more time. There's much today and many people to help. As it turns out, quirks could be used on the premises, due to being private property. Okay, well, only approved people could use their quirks. And fortunately, Seikyo was one of those people. "Ha," said one of the shelter volunteers as Seikyo unloaded all the supplies out of the truck with her telekinesis, while everyone else watched. "Well, aren't we useless? Midoriyas. Am I right?" one of them joked. "Why must I do this by hand?" Seikyo grumbled as she washed dishes alongside Amai in the kitchen. "Because when you tried using your quirk to wash dishes last time, you broke some," Yami said as he made some soup alongside the other cooks. Seikyo pouted. "You could at least let me cook. The last time you cooked something, we had to kill it," Yami pointed out. "I'm so sorry," Amai said, blushing intensely with embarrassment as she recalled her own cooking attempts. "I'm so sorry." Seikyo raised an eyebrow, but for some reason felt it best not to ask. "Here you go. Eat up," Amai said as she handed a happy candy to a man. Meanwhile, Yami and Seikyo did the same, handing people candies from bags that Amai had given them. A few hours later, it was getting late. The sun already getting ready to set, as the three of them left, going back into the limo. "Well, that was fun," Amai said as they sat down and buckled in their seatbelts. Yami responded. "Wasn't that just chores?" Seikyo asked. "Yeah, but we did it to help people," Amai pointed out. "Doesn't that just make you feel good?" "I was made to do that, so it does. But I would rather help people the way Father intended," Seikyo said before holding up her fist and making it glow with energy. "By getting rid of our enemies." I did make her for that, Yami confirmed. You know, your speech has improved a bunch since we met, Yami. Amai pointed out, looking at him proudly. I think that's really cool. And Seikyo, you were always really good at speaking. Even though you were just born, you might actually be better than me now that I think about it. I was created with that knowledge and knowledge on how to use that knowledge. So it's only natural, Seikyo said, with a prideful smile. Yami then started patting Seikyo on the head, and the girl silently leaned into it, enjoying the affection. Amai, feeling a bit left out, raised her hand to start patting Seikyo as well, but hesitated for a moment, as a feeling of doubt and uncertainty filled her for a second. But then Seikyo grabbed her hand and placed it on her head, not so subletting, encouraging her to start petting. And so, Amai just decided to do so, taking some joy in Seikyo's delighted expression. Are you sure you want to do this? Yami asked as he, Seikyo, and Amai stood outside the gates of a large house, holding signs and surrounded by a large group of people. Mutants, not beasts. Mutants, not beasts, shouted the people around them. Most of them were mutants, holding up signs as well. Aha! These people are trying to help other mutants by protesting, Amai said. So I want to help them. You don't have to worry about her safety. We have plenty of men watching over and guarding us. And I'm here. So we can protest as we please, Seikyo said, before turning her focus back onto the mansion. Go suck an egg, old man. Resign and wait for the Reaper to take you. Stop bothering us. Sounds like your trash talk, Yami pointed out, much to Amai's embarrassment. Oh no, it does, Amai said, turning bright red. After the protest, the three headed back to Amai's house, where they quickly headed up to Amai's room and grabbed some controllers. Booting up Superhero Bash, Seikyo and Yami decided to go 2 against 1 on Amai. Game! The announcer shouted. Ugh! Curses! Mother, why are you so good at this? Seikyo growled as she clutched her controller. Ha! Sorry. I don't hold back. Get good. Amai taunted, giving Seikyo a cocky smile. Although, you two actually did make me try a little bit. You've got a talent for games, Seikyo, but you don't have experience. Growling father, we have lost 5 times in a row. How are you not frustrated? Seikyo asked, pouting as she did so. I just like spending time with you too. Yami shrugged. Even if I'm losing, playing with you too is really fun. Amai's face exploded into a massive blush as it had for the 1000th time today, and Seikyo just pouted harder. Father, it's hard to be upset when you say things like that, Seikyo complained. Yami set down his controller and got up. I'm going to get snacks. And with that, Yami exited the room, leaving the two of them alone. There were a few seconds of silence as the two of them came down from the post-game emotional rush. And then Seikyo spoke. Mom, do you love me? Amai froze, as her brain tried to figure out how to compute and respond to that. I really like you? Seikyo frowned. You always seem uncomfortable around me. Do you really hate me calling you mother? I don't hate it. I don't know how to react. I don't think I'm ready for that. Amai said with a big blush on her face. It's all just so weird. And so it makes me feel weird. I guess that makes sense. I'm not even a year old, and I can tell how weird this is. Seikyo sighed. Well, you don't need to see me as a daughter. So long as you see me as family, then I guess that's fine. Is that okay with you? Amai felt a sense of relief fill her. Yeah, I'd like that. Seikyo smiled. Good. Now then, hug me.